Very good day, dear students. I'm Shomodeep, your faculty for robotics. So, as we have completed around 12 sessions, we'll be moving to the 13th session today. So, let us go into our session. And this session is going to be a very short session, okay, with a very specific topic in mind that I have, okay, and I'll convey you the whole topic. So, let us get into it. So, here we are. Let us continue with the session with the next part, analog read. We can show it fully. Now the analog read function reads the value from the specified analog pin present on the particular Arduino board. Okay. The ADC, now what is ADC? Now we'll be using these kind of acronyms, these kind of short forms. The ADC, that is analog to digital converter on the Arduino board, is a multi-channel converter, right? Okay, we all know that, we have used that. If you don't know that, do not worry, we'll be working with that. Okay. It maps the input voltage and the operating voltage between the values 0 and 1023. Okay. The operating voltage can be 5 volt or 3.3 volts, right? The values from 0 to 1023 are the integer values. Now, it can also be written as 0 to 2 to the power 10 minus 1, right? The time duration to read an analog input signal on the boards, that is Uno, Mega, Mini, any one of the board, like what we will be using, we'll be using Uno basically, okay, is about 100 microseconds or 0.0001 seconds, okay? That's basically 100 microseconds. All right. Now, hence, the maximum reading rate of analog input is about 10,000 times per second, okay? Let's discuss the operating voltage and resolution of some Arduino boards. Now, what is the operating voltage? The operating voltage of Arduino, Uno, Migi, and Mega, Nano, Leonardo, and Micro is 5 volt, and resolution is 10 bit. So remember, whenever Arduino is working, like you are working upon with an Arduino, it's basically working with a 5 volt supply. Okay. Now, what happens is that whenever you connect the Arduino with a USB to the system, that is to the computer, it basically provides it the voltage, right? So no external source is needed, so the Arduino might run. But what happens is whenever you are designing an independent robot or independent car, okay, robotic car, anything, and then you won't be having the cable, or else if you connect the cable with the Arduino, it will not go further, right? So at that time, what is needed is a voltage source, that is a battery can be fitted, like a space can be provided for an external battery or external cell to be provided over there, and that must provide 5 volt to the Arduino board. Now if it is providing more, then you need to add extra components, extra instruments to reduce the voltage to 5 volt and then give apply to the Arduino. Okay, so that is the thing, that is how we'll be building the further projects, and that is how we'll be proceeding. Okay. Now the operating voltage of MKR family boards like Arduino Duo and Zero is 3 volt, and resolution is 12 volt, 12 bits. Okay. Next, changing the input voltage and resolution. On a particular board, we can change the input voltage using the analog reference function and analog reference. Okay. So analog reference, the reference voltage used for the analog input is configured by the analog reference. Okay. And what is the syntax? Can you see over here? Analog reference, and in parentheses in the brackets, type is written. Okay. Now we can change the resolution only for the MKR family, that is Zero and Duo board, using the analog read resolution function. Okay. So if you want to use the analog read resolution function, only few boards like the MKR family, not that Mega family, only the MKR family input voltage can be changed like that, okay, by using analog resolution function. The MKR family, that is Zero and Duo, have the ADC resolution of 12 bits. As I said earlier, ADC means analog to digital converter. Okay, the analog read resolution will return the integer values between 0 and 4095 from the analog read function. Okay. And what is the syntax? Analog read resolution and bits. How many bits? It should be written in the bracket or parenthesis. Understood? Where these bits, it signifies the resolution bits returned by the analog read function. Now we can set the value of bits between 1 to 32. Okay, that is the general one. Now what is the syntax of analog read? As we all know, analog read pin. Now pin here, it includes the name of the particular analog pin to read from. Like if you have connected to an analog pin, A6 or like A3. So that you need to mention over here, the pin from which it should be, the data should be read from. Okay. A not connected analog pin can also return some value. Remember, if an analog pin is not connected, it can also yet it can like return the value, some value. Such value depends on the position of our hand on the board and other nearby analog inputs. Whatever input we give, it will depend upon that. Okay. This was the thing I needed to tell you. And finally, this session was about this read function only. So it is a very short session, as I said previously. Now, finally, a code. You see, below is an example for the better understanding of the analog read function. So int ANA pin wins, ANA pin wins, analog pin A3, right? So analog pin A3 is specified here. Int value is given 0, that is variable declared to store the value read. In void setup, serial begin 9600 is given, serial read pin, and in void loop, so void loop value equal to analog read and a pin that reads the input pin and serial println value. So serial.println value, the value that is read by the analog pin, okay, by the function analog read, will be printed over in the as the output. Okay, so this was it. This was all about analog read, and I hope you have understood what I was trying to say. A very short session it was. We'll be meeting upon in the next session.